Have you or someone you love recently been attacked by a machete-wielding madman? Please contact Lucien Lorde on 7800 800 800. You may be entitled to compensation. Fuck it. Let's get into it. Fuck it. Let's get into it. Injury head. Move speed. 50. Jacket. Own. Jean-Claude Jacquetti. With your jacket on. Does this matter? We have to do jacket off, that way they immediately sense something is wrong.
Drink to get over the pain.
Yeah, I wish he was the writing one of the different options. But Tar is the writing one, which doesn't make sense because Tar couldn't write. Wicked irradiation. Hello, my friend. Oh. Deputy Lucien Posh Lad Lord. I know. They think he was posh. Everyone's first mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. Right, we won't take the gun. I'll put my other gun back on my hip. Put that on there. This is his private gun. Maybe I'll take that down to the bank. Yeah, I think the only way, talking about last night, I know, the clue that Lucien isn't actually a posh boy from money is that he tried to deck the guy that tried to kill him. Oh, that's a lot of people. Fuck this.
Thirteen, 14, 15, 16,
What's going on?
17,
They just robbed the bank with no...
18,
Yeah,
19,
they might have tried.
20,
But...
21, 22, 23, 24, 25. But your law?
Hello, sir. Are you all right?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Roberts was just free.
Yeah, I thought I saw something going on. Group leaving swiftly.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Did they rob
Two
the bank?
ladies. I think they tried to, but I'm not sure if it was just robbed or not, but they didn't seem interested anymore. So they just wanted me to count high until 30 before I could leave.
I see. All right, let me take a quick look around.
Go right here. I was smoke.
Yeah. They didn't hurt you or anything, did they?
Luckily not.
There's not enough law on, I don't think, for them to rob a bank. I'm not on duty. Oh, this one's SCSD. Okay, fuck it. Close with this one. Alright. If you wouldn't mind, would you accompany me up to the sheriff's office up there?
Yeah, no problem at all. I'll do so.
You'll have to excuse my attire and such. I took an injury last night, so I'm a little under the weather, but I'll see if I can get this done. I've got a little cut on my neck after some friendly chaps came at me with a machete, but
Jesus.
yeah, we'll get you tucked away here. What was your name, sir? I'm Deputy Lord Lucien.
Deputy Lord, nice to meet you. Jonathan Prime.
Jonathan Prime.
That's right.
All right. Do you live here in town?
I live in Valentine. Work in Emerald. That's where they took me from.
Oh, bloody hell! They brought you all the way here.
Threatened to kill my horse if I did anything they wouldn't like. So I can take a lie, but threats I don't like.
Yeah. All right.
Good day, fella.
Paula.
Right.
You doing all right?
Yeah, not bad. It's looks like the was it? I'm gonna head over to Valentine actually and talk to a reverend over there. So
Yeah. All right. Watch out. There's a group that just tried to rob the bank unsuccessfully, and they just rode out of town that way. So keep an eye out.
okay, all right, yeah, I'll check you when I get there.
Yeah.
See you later, fella.
Yeah, true, mate.
Right. So sorry. It was Jonathan Prime. Is that right? Sorry.
Yes, sir. It was.
All right. I'll grab a quick statement off you, and then I'll let you get back to your work. So they didn't take anything off of you, first of all.
No, I don't think they did. They just removed my gun barrel.
Right. And you got that back.
Yeah, I got it back afterward.
All right. They didn't hurt you or anything like that. Okay. So I suppose if you wouldn't mind just giving me a sort of quick rundown of what happened, and I'll see you on your way.
Sure.
Deputy Lord.
Yes.
Do you see the tip about the fellas with the sombreros?
No, I'm not actually on duty, but I can look.
Well, there's 3 fellas down there that keep looking over this direction. 2 got sombreros on, and there's a couple of tips in there they're riding out now. So
All right.
I'll just follow at a distance and everything, and I'm heading that way anyway. So I just thought I'd keep you informed, like.
Yeah, very useful. That might be the if it is them, it could be the Del Lobos who are. They're vicious, so I would take the long way round if I were you, fella.
All right, yeah, I'll do that. Well, all right then, mate. Take care now.
Yeah, you too. So sorry.
No, that's fine. That's
yeah,
fine.
so you were presumably working, or you were at the ranch.
I was about to work in Emerald Ranch. Then came 6 people. What was it? 6 people on 5 horses rode up to me, surrounded me. They said who I was. They asked who I was. I said I was a ranch hand, nothing more. So they pointed guns at me, told me to get off the horse, and then they grabbed my gun belt. just for their own security, I guess.
All right.
After that, uh, one of them got on my horse, and I thought he was gonna steal it, so I got a bit mouthy on him. And he told me to get on the horse. I did. And then we started riding to roads. He didn't say much. Tried to get them to spell their names or their gang names or whatever that would be, but they didn't budge. They only made me give my name.
Right.
The only thing they said to me was, if you get lippy with us again, like you did on the ranch, instead of you getting your horse back, we'll just shoot it. We'll shoot it in the head. So that shut me up.
Yeah. Fair enough.
After that, we were out here in Rhodes. They took me into the bank, made me stand by the window, and they inspected the bank. And then they came up to me and said, "All right, you tell the 30. If you come out sooner than that, then we'll shoot you." So I started counting, and then they rode away.
Okay. I suppose the only other thing I'd request, if you had any idea of what they looked like, sounded like, any sort of distinguishing features that you might be able to remember from them, or their clothing, or anything like that.
Most of them were wearing like normal Valentine clothing, you know, typical. Mistake them from ranchers or so. Dark clothing. One of them was probably somewhat Scottish or something like that. It was two ladies, four men. Oh, I know one of them had like a pelt around his shoulders.
Yeah, I saw him like a big bear pelt or something.
Exactly, yeah. The rest of them just had dark clothing and maybe a little bit color here and there, but mostly dark. Um,
All right.
I didn't really see much more.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right. Well, I'll get this written up, and you can get on your way. Did they leave your horse here, or did they take it? Do you have transport?
No, they rode it over here to Rhodes, and then they ordered me to scare it away. Probably get it back if I whistle for it.
Yeah, it's possible the farriers might have picked it up. There's a stable behind us to the sort of northeast of us.
All right.
They might be able
Yeah, we'll
to
go
see
over
if
there.
they've found it. All right. If anything sort of comes about and we need to get in contact, we'll let you know. If there's nothing else, I'll let you go about your day.
I appreciate it.
All
All
right.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry this happened. We'll see if we can figure out who it was, and well, I would imagine they'll probably try and find another bank. Something about this bank wasn't to their liking, was it? So
Maybe.
hopefully
Well,
we'll
I'm not
pick them
sure.
up later on, and hopefully
Yeah.
you can get some work done, without feeling too bothered about what happened here.
Yeah, I've been robbed and taken hostage quite a lot, unfortunately, so it's just a bummer when it happens. I don't like it.
Yeah, yeah. You and me both. All right. Well, I hope you're able to have a better afternoon and evening.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Just send me a telegram if y'all need me or for anything more.
Will do. Thank you very much,
All
sir.
right. See you later.
Yeah, goodbye. Okay. I've got to get a telegram off to Ryan. I've got to go and see a doctor. And I'm not supposed to be doing any work. Rhodes robbers in Valentine. 3 robbers who held me up in the roads at St. Denis from Rhodes were just in a saloon in Valentine. They saw me, left the horse in town, then went on foot toward Chadwick Farm. The farmhouse, a short walk from the back of Valentine General Store just outside of town, appeared to be on the road but not stopping. That's 3 though, not 5. Free sombrero. Oh, okay, that's them. Who robbed a fellow on his way to St. Denis. They stole a black and gold Schofield. Etched Psalm 1444. Alright. Before I write this up. Is he moving the correct speed? I suspected he wasn't. Little cut, I know, yeah. Just got a fucking crazy amount of bandages around his neck. I'm sort of RPing that he went to see a doctor this morning to get the bandages checked, by the way. Even though I didn't in character do it, because, you know, I was in the real world. Crazy that. Let's shoot off a quick telly to Ryan. Grandma Blam. And then one to Law. To warn about these 5. Good day again.
Good day.
We just have to navigate this fucking place without being fucking kidnapped while injured. So let's do the one thing that's going to absolutely guarantee we get kidnapped and go here. Deputy Lord, I'm available until now, until you maybe, I don't know, plans I'm going to do it anytime, so I'll be wide open. I'll be in St. Denis with an interrogation because it's a tip line, simply holding for okay. And that was today or yesterday? It's today. Right, let's pop one off to Law. Six individuals attempted to rob Rhodes Bank. Took a hostage. Were unable to. Left before attempting. Maybe move from town to town. Dark clothing. 2 mask. No. 4 mask. 2 femme. And oh fucking fuck. One wearing a pelt cloak. Let's send one to Kingsley Ryan. Make my way to Saint Denis office shortly and commence the training. Yours, Lucien Lorde. Chloe, got myself shaving. I seem to have cut myself shaving in the night. Such a frightful wound I have. How bizarre. I am going to Saint Denis to do some eye and eye training with Ryan. Afterwards, I will find a doctor to look over my bandages. Wounds.
All right, mate.
Good afternoon. Hope you aren't doing well. Yours. Again. Okay, let's just fucking get to Saint Denis into the safety of the interrogation room. And then I'll write up this report. Must get to the safety of Kingsley Ryan, who is basically female Lucien Lorde. If you don't know who that is. Do you remember a long time ago there's a girl in like, there's a law character in just like black and white. Female Lucien Lorde. Right, I can't justify riding really fast because he's injured, but you can trot along. I'll quickly throw this gun down as well. His jacket is going to be in the cleaners. His jacket's in the cleaners, and his this is a new shirt. Oh, hi, Wombax. Oh, hi, Mark. My friend. How do you do? Wombax plays Waylon Kirk. The Wombax, welcome into the channel. I play Deputy Lucien Lorde. Lord. Lucien last night took a machete to the neck, so he's a bit fucked up. I won't be really probably getting into any mad shit tonight. You never know, but probably not. Can't justify any sort of canter really, so we're just gonna have to. We just have to get to Saint Denis without being kidnapped by the Del Lobos. Oh, the sunset on the river looks so amazing. The reflection off of the river is fucking crazy. Dude, if I could just like send into your mind what I can see out of my window right now. My God, I think you might just shit yourself and die. You die happy. At least you die happy. You die empty. Your asshole would be empty and you die happy. You die empty and happy.
That horse looks like a fine traveling companion.
Jesus, like. Alright, fine. I'll control the horse. He can't be contained. What would it take to get a river pick? Hold on. You can obviously have one. Now. Let's see. Oh, Jesus. That's them, isn't it? No, maybe not. That could be law. No, I don't know. Oh, I don't want to get kidnapped. Alright, this is the exact view outside of my window right now, Tudor. I'm having to do it on my phone, so it's taking fucking forever. What do you even send? This is what I'm looking at right now. It's crazy. Now, just prove to everyone in the chat. Tell me that isn't fucking unreal. Right? You describe it in words for the chat room. Hi Talon, how you doing, man? Can't justify riding too hard on Lucien. Plus, I just saw that whole gang ride by. Really don't want to get fucking kidnapped right now. Lucien's been slashed up by a machete. Someone tried to fucking slit his throat last night with a machete, so I had him take a pretty gnarly wound. So he's off. He's signed off by a medic. I'm gonna go and do some training anyway because I can do like paperwork training and stuff. I really don't want to get digged. Grungy cotton candy, calm spring evening with boats. Yeah. Do you believe me now, Toodle? Not that you didn't believe me before, but you guys don't understand how much my view from my room is so cool now. It's so weird because it's got like such a Victorian industrial look. But then sometimes the light just hits these, the lights just hit the river just right, and it is unreal. How's the face? Yeah, I mean, he's doing all right. I'm sort of justifying that he, like, because the machete hit his neck, but also hit his clavicle. It stopped it from, like, really properly messing him up in any way that would severely, fuck him up. We just got a bit distracted because I looked out the window and the sun is setting at the moment and it just looks unbelievable. Brutal, yeah, I mean, you know how it is at this point. A glass? Too late. I don't know if it was or not. Thank you, Anonymous, for gifting a sub to Toodle, by the way. What is the painkiller that they would give Lucien, by the way, if I went to a medic this morning? Because I'm sort of treating it like you went to a local doctor. Just the person I'm looking for.
How are you, Deputy Lord?
Well, I'm doing alright.
I kind of just glanced at the tip line.
Yeah, I mean, there was immediately a thing, something going on in Rhodes. I just have to write up a file for the chap that was taken hostage for the not bank robbery.
Okay.
And then we can sort of get on with things. I did take a bit of an injury last night.
Okay.
But I'm cleared for light duty, just not anything heavy. But I don't think that I don't know if that's required for what we're planning.
No, I doubt it. But yeah, let's go ahead and step inside of here. If
Right.
that's alright, you can do your paperwork in here.
Yeah. What remains? Yeah, I'll sort of I'll get the basics down and I'll get the rest finished later on, just in case. I got the feeling that these chaps who tried to rob Rhodes Bank are probably going to try and hit somewhere else later on, so I'll make sure they've got, you know, at least the hostage taking charges on there as well.
That's fair enough.
How are you doing? Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm doing fairly alright. I helped aid in bringing in the ghost of Roanoke last night.
Oh, managed to pick them up.
It was mostly Bolton. I will give her that. I think she had a one-on-one standoff with him, and they both quite injured each other. But while she was being tended to, I did do a bunch of interrogation with him, which is unfortunate you weren't there for it. It's an easy one to interrogate.
Right. Well, if anyone asks, I'll let them know that, you know, it was all you did it alone.
No.
And
I would much rather give all the credit to Bolton than myself.
I suppose it's a group effort for, you know, everybody that's been on the case for a little while. I did have one run-in with the ghost at one point. There was 5 of us and they still managed to slip away.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me. He's been slippery for a long time. And I'm really hesitant to close the book on everything until I know that he's been executed.
Is that what it's going to be then? Straight to the chair, perhaps?
Yep, straight to the chair. I believe it's on the 23rd of this month, next Thursday, if I recall correctly.
Alright.
To the relief of many.
Well, jolly good show for that one, I must say. Sometimes I feel a little more compassion, but I don't think so this time.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken with him, and he's just a really troubled individual. He killed for the first time when he was 18, just due to the fact that someone was annoying him. I think he said that it felt really easy for him to do it, and I wondered if it was a thrill or something that he had, and it's a little bit more of the root of the matter. But yeah, that was his main drive, was killing people. No
Twisted.
real rhyme or reason otherwise.
They don't get the attempted bank. Do get hostage taking. Alright, I think that'll do. Just I'll put the witness statement in there later on.
Okay. Do you want to take a seat here?
Yes, alright.
All
You
right.
know, when I got the badge, I was in this room and they sat me in that chair that you're in. And there was quite a few people sort of lining the walls, you know, all deputies and sheriffs and seniors and such. And they started questioning me on where the gold was. And I was terrified. I thought perhaps they got the wrong person or something like that.
Mm.
And then eventually they produced a badge and slid it across the table towards me. That's where the gold was.
Mm.
Technically,
It's
the
nice
first
of him.
thing I ever did was sort of an interrogation on the other side of the table.
I kind of imagined that you'd be good at interrogations, honestly. Um,
Yeah.
but I do think it's a little bit cruel sometimes the way that we handle our uh, promotions from cadet to deputy.
Yeah, it was
I'm
like a
always,
hazing or something like that, I suppose.
yeah, for a brief moment, but it's all
Yeah.
washed over with pleasant thoughts, I imagine.
No, it was very thoughtful of them, I think.
Mm.
I was petrified, of course, but it was quite fun, really. Well, I suppose it was fun on their side, I can imagine.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, I don't know if I would be good at interrogations or not. I mean, I think a lot of people sort of think that I've a very calm demeanor, even under pressure, which I suppose, on the one hand, could be sort of seen as nonchalant, and on the other, could be seen as quite frightening, perhaps.
Yeah. What is it that's frightening about it?
Well, I suppose, if one appears cool, calm, and collected when, the building's burning down around them, then I suppose it's inhuman, isn't it? Though I should admit, on the inside, I'm very rarely cool, calm, and collected. I'm just as frightened as anyone else, but I do my best to keep my my head on straight, even though they tried to cut it off me last night.
Mm. I think that's kind of surprising to hear that you're not as cool and calm, collective inside and internally as you exhibit outwardly.
Yeah, well, I feel like I'd probably be on the other side of the badge if I didn't feel anything, I'd be one of these maniacs running around trying to hurt people or whatever it is they get in their heads.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about things that happened yesterday?
No, not really, I suppose. Unless you sort of want to, unless you want to. I feel like, while the situation was quite sort of frightening, I spent most of the evening concerned about Under Sheriff McGregor. They injured me, and after a little while I sort of passed out, and I was a bit more concerned about him because they didn't let him go. And then they dumped him off in the forest somewhere.
This is the Breakers, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, that's them. I don't really know much about them, to be honest.
Yeah, I was just told about them. Group in, well, you probably know more about them than a good majority of the department now at this point, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was going to sort of tuck into some paperwork later on, see if I can piece some bits together. I haven't really looked through the case file from last night. I was going to do it earlier on, but then a bunch of people tried to rob the bank, and there was a poor chap standing in the corner counting. So I thought I'd better go in there and rescue him after they rode out of town.
Yeah, makes sense. I've been told time and time again if I want to do paperwork, I best do it here or somewhere hidden. I've had civilians even tell me where I can and can't do paperwork. Otherwise, they're going to sit there and try and talk to me.
Right. Yeah. I've sort of made a similar mistake. I was actually just wandering down to the bank myself. I wanted to put my personal rifle in there. I was sort of carrying it around, but it's awkward with this thing on my neck.
I mean, how dare you, I guess.
Right.
But anyway, I suppose. Alright, did you get a chance to read over the file at some point or no? If not, that's okay.
Yes, I gave it a read through a few days ago.
Okay, I'm just going to pull it up then, and we'll just chat through it really quickly.
All right.
So it is split into two sections. The first is a lecture, which since you read it over, I'll just briefly touch up on things. And the second part is more of a practical application, which we kind of touch base on.
Right.
The practical part of it is supposed to be where you do an interrogation with a lead, so either Dalloway, Glass, Boswell, or myself. I find that that is an incredibly difficult task to do, especially given that you and me have been trying to meet for how long now? A week or so?
Right, yeah, something like that.
So we'll try and, I think, do it a little bit differently, just given that I have more faith in you, I suppose.
All right. And no pressure then?
Yeah, don't feel pressure on it. Do you have in mind some cases where you would want to ask more questions from somebody? If not, I have a few.
I suppose I could really say any and all of them, really. There's quite a few cases where I'd be curious to ask more questions, but I don't know if I've really ever been a true lead on any particular case in such a way that I would feel confident in needing to ask more questions, or at least that there weren't already questions that had been asked that I hadn't seen.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I suppose the answer is I don't know.
All right,
Is
then
this
I will
for an
mention.
example, or?
How about you want to pull up case file 25411. This is Eli Lockhart attempted kidnapping of Lady Cutter.
All right. Yes.
All right, so this one is, well, at the very bottom, we don't have a witness statement at all. I have spoken with Hank Hammer, who I will FAO. He said that I guess an interview did happen with the victim, Lady Cutter, of the situation, but he quote unquote says that it was done poorly, and I guess just left it blank at this time.
Right.
So this would be a case where we know that Eli Lockhart apparently got, well, he used to work for Silverlight. He was then fired from working there, and then apparently attempted to kidnap Lady Cutter. So we'll keep this in mind.
Yeah.
But then also, a couple hours later, Eli Lockhart is found murdered at the oil field, which is controlled by Silverlight members.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah. This was recent as well, right?
Mm-hmm. 10 days ago or so.
Right.
So, with this information, we'll keep this in mind and we'll kind of craft some ideas on how we would pursue
Okay.
with this case, because I think this is a very solid case to take a look at.
Yeah.
So, I'm just going to pull up the other one second. All right. So, questioning techniques, we have establishing rapport. So, say if we have Lady Cutter in our office, and we're looking to A, we want to talk to her first as a victim, but B, we're wondering more information about this dead body that's found on her property.
Yeah.
So, establishing rapport is beginning with basic administrative questions that can put the interviewees at ease, setting the stage for open and effective communication. Example question would be like, "How was your day so far?" Do you have any questions that you might ask her then, you think, to put her a little bit more at ease?
I've spoken to Lady Cutter a couple of times. She tends to have people that sort of, for want of a better word, sort of dote on her. So I would imagine that sort of aligning myself with that approach would work, since she's more akin to having people check on her and check that she's doing all right. So perhaps I would offer her like a cup of tea or something like that, some sort of put myself into a position of service.
Mm-hmm. I think it'd be a really good method to take.
Yeah, I suppose I
Um,
would offer her that, perhaps a cup of tea or a drink or something.
okay. It's a route I didn't even think of, but I think that'd be a really good angle to begin with.
Oh, really? Was I supposed to sort of like slam my fist down on the desk and ask her where the bodies are?
Nah, that would I would say is not the angle I would take with her whatsoever.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't.
But a lot of this case, and this is just further detail regarding Silverlight and this group, they've had a very long history with individuals from Valentine doing things against them, and vice versa. At least we believe, where
Right.
there's been some vandalism that's happened at the church. They're saying that Silverlight that's doing it, and Silverlight saying that people of Valentine are breaking into my home and causing a mess. We even have in, insert from Ash stating like this is the worst one yet, which means oh, probably people of Valentine have murdered Eli Lockhart.
Right.
But an additional angle that you could take in this particular one, given that information, is just how are things going with you? Have you had any recent problems with people, or Valentine, or you know, I heard about this Eli Lockhart A, that he tried to kidnap you. I hope you're all right with that. And then also, I've heard that he's passed. How are you faring with that? Just showing that little bit of kindness and giving that false sense of security a little bit.
All right. Yes.
The next one is the biggest thing, though, is the open and free recall questions, which I think is a big misstep that a lot of deputies take. So once we've got this out of the way, these opening, beginning, phase questions, it's going straight to the meat of it and saying, hey, uh, Lady Cutter, on this date, I know that you were attempted kidnapped by Eli Lockhart. Can you walk me through what happened that day? And while that's happening, taking really detailed notes throughout. Every time that you hear something that seems a little bit unclear to you, even if you think, I assume with 90% certainty I know what she's saying, just ask, just clarify. I think clarifying things is just incredible. It's the key to a very, very good interrogation. Because if you can get them to clarify things, you can probably catch them in the lies that they're doing, or mm, catch them off guard a little bit too, because they might be trying to say something coyly.
Right. Okay.
So that's what I do every time that I am taking interrogation. I just make a note of, she says, "Oh, they were there watching," and say, "Well, who was watching, and what were they doing? Were they around? You know, aside from watching, were they doing anything else? Would you see them do afterwards? What direction were they going? All this, just knocking it, all of it down."
Yeah. All right.
Now, next session goes over probing questions. So that's once you're done with this whole open recall. You just go into who, what, when, where, why, how. So if she again is unclear with it, then that's where you would say, well, who did you see do that? Be like a little bit more careful on these ones, in the fact that you want to make sure that the free and open recall is completely done first before going back and going over these questions in depth. I might very quickly readjust something, but I typically leave these a little bit more towards the end.
Yeah.
Now, closed questions are something that I would do a little bit more sparingly. These closed questions are going to end with more of a yes or no answer. The reason being is if you're giving them a closed question, it's very easy for them to say yes or no. It's a lot better for you to leave it open. That way they can build on the story. If you say a closed question, then they might take what you're saying and run with it.
Right. I suppose they also sort of. I suppose a closed question. If they just sort of say no, then that's that door closed, literally. So it's quite hard to get it back open again, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Like, for example, it says, does this occur? Or were you at the saloon, Valentine Saloon, when it started, or something like that? And they could say, well, no, I wasn't. But now it's hard for you to get back at it. I mean, you could if you had some further details to say, you know what, that's not right. We knew that you were there. But why even ask the question in the first place?
Yeah. Is an interrogation part of the
All right,
training?
let
It
me look at
used
the
to
rest
be.
of this.
I don't think it is
Does
anymore.
that all make sense then? A little bit?
Yes, that makes sense, yeah.
Okay.
I suppose it's not too dissimilar to sort of the everyday questioning. It's just a bit more specific, trying to eke out I suppose details to try and find out what happened retroactively a little more specifically, especially if we think that they're suspicious of it.
The and that's why I think that interview, and I would argue that the main thing that you need to do to get certified for this is to give a very good interview. There are just some subtle differences between an interrogation and an interview. Interview, we're mostly just accepting everything. Interrogation, we're trying to lead towards, what we understand happened, or maybe understand a little bit more about the whole situation, but otherwise, getting a confession out of them.
Yeah.
Um, there are a couple things, like I said, that are different. And actually, if you look at the extra notes, example strategy, this goes through a bunch of things. I'll highlight I'm going to say all of them, but we'll just talk about in specific where an interrogation is different. But yeah, using free recall initially, super important. We talked about that. And then you clarify with those 5W questions like who, what, when, how, where, etc. Let them talk and listen. And I will say, too, there's been a lot of times where I'll just be writing things and there's this really long and awkward silence, and just let it happen. You don't have to fill the space because they will keep talking. It feels incredibly awkward and uncomfortable for them, and they will tell you more.
Yeah, I've sort of seen that in practice, and it seems to be very effective.
Mm-hmm. It's human nature.
McGregor.
People want to get out of those types of situations a little bit, so
Right.
they'll just keep talking. They don't like the silence. Step 4 is clarifying again. You can come back on and summarize. I think that's a good method. It will help you clarify everything as well. And then also, you can compare it to evidence that you've obtained to say, hey, based off of your summary, you're telling me this. But I know that there's an additional step here. Where did this happen? How does this play in?
Yeah.
Step 6, is there anything else that you'd like to tell regarding the incident? And then, yeah, 7 is where it talks about more evidence as well. And then 8 goes into challenging. I know in here. Hold on, where is it? I think they reran this thing like 3 times too. Okay, I don't think it's in this one per se, but lying is something that we can do as a deputy. I just use it very carefully and cautiously. And then also, applying pressure is really the big key difference between an interview and an interrogation. That's where it gets a little bit difficult to manage, and probably why they would more so like to watch an interrogation. Now, most people that I've experienced, they will fold immediately and tell you stuff, but there are some people that won't, such as I hear that the Chenzos are very closed about what they do.
Right.
And
Yeah,
if you can't,
I've bumped into a couple of those, and they're well, I suppose they're smart, but they're also sort of like smart weasels, just sort of slipping out of little narrow
Mhm.
escapes.
But with enough evidence, you can catch them. And even no matter how much they deny, you still can just apply that pressure continually. So I believe that does cover most of the material. Do you have any questions on any of that?
No, I don't think so. I suppose, yeah, that sort of all makes sense to me. Yeah.
The only other thing, well, it does talk about how you want to have your evidence and know the case very well before going into it. Um, I would recommend early on is just making sure you're writing specific questions that you want to for sure be known answered. That way you don't forget about them. I also kind of have when I'm working on these, I have kind of a 2 column system where I write their statement, but then the other column I might say, oh, these are additional questions that are popping up in my head and how to It's like information they're giving me that I need to further on now.
Right. Yeah,
So
that's smart.
writing that down too. All right, so from here, that's where we'd want to see the more practical side of things. I know you said that you didn't really have at least one on in the forefront of your mind. But if you want to identify a specific individual that you'd like to have a conversation with, either an interview or an interrogation, I'm fine with either as long as you're following these steps. That I can get you signed off on it. If you're struggling to find something, these Silverlight people, there's a lot of them, and there's a lot of things that haven't been addressed whatsoever with this case.
Right.
So I wouldn't mind
Maybe you do still
taking a
have to
look
do
at
it.
this. I view as if this case is honestly pretty silver plattery. So it's, it's good practice on this one. Especially
Yeah.
since Silverlight, I anticipate, is going to be incredibly tight lipped about it, but they made some serious missteps where I think it's a pretty solid case about what happened that day.
Yeah, I sort of have a sort of passing understanding of the Silverlight case. I've accompanied Glass on a couple of his investigations, and once or twice I sort of bumped into Ash once. She asked if I was involved, and tried to get me to clarify a document. And so I've sort of got, it seems to be quite a complex and full case, but I have a general knowledge of it. I've also spoken to Lockhart before in a completely separate situation, but I think I got a good measure of the man in one sitting, if that makes sense.
Now, I can say too, there's a senior level file which I wrote up regarding Pete Conrad attacking Mr. Lockhart. Pete
Right.
Conrad came out with a machete. Did I talk to you about this one?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. And the reason Pete attacked him was because someone told members of the Dead End Gang that Eli Lockhart was impersonating the Wallaby Kid. And Eli Lockhart really denied ever doing something like that, and he insinuated that someone probably told that information to members of Den Gang to try and get Eli Lockhart in trouble. And it goes back to the whole Valentine versus Silverlight type deal. I didn't really go into details on that because I knew it was going, and I didn't want to deal with it, I suppose, in a way.
Yeah.
Although I will say that's probably where I would eat my own words a bit and say, instead of assuming things, it's better to have asked directly more information on that. But I did ask him if he had any ideas on who would have done something like that, and he declined knowing that, and also stating that Pete Conrad didn't divulge that information either. So from there, I knew that he was part of Silverlight as well. He was someone that peddled some products for them. I don't think he was really high up on the hierarchy there. Also, in my times dealing with Silverlight, it seems as if they do revolve their staff pretty regularly. I think that you either are a diehard individual who does express a bunch of loyalty to Lady Cutter, and this one is kind of interesting to me. I don't really understand it. I feel as if she's someone that people just genuinely very much like. Or is she someone that's incredibly manipulative? I'm uncertain of at this point.
Yeah, I've only had one or two sort of brief interactions with Lady Cutter, but it's hard to say. I think my first sort of inkling was that she just seemed sort of like a sort of a feeble old woman who was people were being very kind towards her, and like I said, doting on her. So my initial sort of
Mm-hmm.
inclination was that, you know, she must be nice. If people are being so nice to her, then presumably she's, you know, been kind to them. But then, you know, it does seem as though she seems to be at the head of a lot of these twisting turns that and occurrences, and it sort of suggests perhaps more of a keen, malicious eye rather than sort of a, you know, a milky, roomy one.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the accounts that I have heard too is like from Mr. Beale. Mr. Beale has stated that he finds her to be very nice and is worried that she's being taken advantage of by these goons of sorts, individuals like Ash. And I just forget the gentleman's name. He's quite hot headed and used to be a former pastor as well, but it's in the larger file.
Yeah, the one interaction I had with Ash, I've spoken to them a couple of times, but one sort of true interaction I had, she was very insistent that the correct information went down on a file with an altercation with the Valentine people, which I thought was a little revealing as well. It sort of reveals a controlling nature, trying to control the narrative and position yourself into a, you know, favorable place.
Yes. And I'm happy you recognize that, because that is exactly what's going to happen in these interrogations that are to follow.
Right.
Now, though, there's some additional steps on it, but I think a larger portion on this too is the process that we will take to interrogate these people. I mean, I could just go pick up Ash, you know, talk to her, but is that the right step, you think? Um, what would be your method to initiate these interrogations?
Well, honestly, I don't think for the last 3 or 4 days I've checked the tip line and not seen anything about Silverlight. There seems to be kind of several tips coming through to do with something or other. You know, somebody's spotted them, or which I thought was odd. Why they're being sort of reported as being seen as if they were a sort of violent gang of outlaws rather than a sort of potentially just simply respected company. You know, and then the body in the situation with Lockhart and such. So I think what I would do is just wait, because they will eventually come to us, or something will happen which would give me reason enough to approach them about, you know, anything else, and then maybe I'd be able to segue into questions regarding what I was trying to, you know, if I had a list of questions.
Okay.
I'd probably wait, since they seem to be popping up a lot. I'm sure they will come to us.
I see. All right. I think I have two things in regard to that. Now, one of them I have to verify for myself, but I've been told that members of Silverlight were in Strawberry and were quite openly talking about the murder of Eli. However, it wasn't necessarily saying we murdered Eli, but they're talking about it.
Right.
The other thing that I would mention is, of course, that this is a murder investigation, which I think puts a little bit more priority on me, where I would probably, although I haven't really acted on it or shown that, I've just been incredibly busy, and with the dust storm that happened this week too, I haven't been able to take a look at this as much as I'd like to, and that's going to change next week. But the route that I would consider doing this is two things. And I do want to say foremost too that these individuals I find to be a lot more clever and more hidden with the way that they do it. Where I think that there will be a initial interviews, but this probably won't end up with a confession right now. It will be, we'll take your statement and we'll come back to this later, and I will arrest you at a later point. Um, but the two people that would be of interest to me are, we talked about Lady Cutter right from the beginning, because I want to set the stage. I want to talk about more information regarding Eli Lockhart attempting to kidnap her, showing compassion to her regarding that situation, how scary it was, etc., and really getting the motive behind on this murder.
Yeah.
And then from there, we can ask her a little bit more about what she had heard revolving this death, although I don't anticipate her to say much of anything. Although it is of interest to her, it happened at her place.
Yeah.
The other individual that I have interest in is this individual named Tex. He is a member of Silverlight and seems like a newer employee, one that I'm unaware of. But he came later to the scene, so we don't. I anticipate he wasn't necessarily there for the murder itself, but I'd like to know more information that he has heard, and also apply a little bit of pressure to him too. Be like, hey, this individual used to work for Silverlight. Like, does that not concern you a little bit? As in, you know, you could be next.
Yeah. Put the target on his back.
hmm I would leave Ash for absolute last, to be honest with you. Not until I get all my pieces in a row. But those would be the two that I'd be interested in.
Right. Yeah. I mean, sort of just to rectify my my answer, sort of retroactively here, but I sort of thought that I took the question as if the individuals had already been questioned to do with the murder and with the kidnapping, or with Eli Lockhart taking her. I sort of thought that the question was, what would I do next?
I see.
If I had a good enough reason, and they already hadn't been interviewed or spoken to about it, then that would be more than enough reason for me to contact them and just try and find them. I think with these sorts of individuals, if they are involved, and there are sort of different types of criminals, right? There's your Del Lobos, who you don't really want to just saunter over to where they are and have a chat with, because they'll cut off a toe or something. But I think with these sorts, it's a lot easier to engage in a more civilized approach to, an interview or something like that. So I guess, if I had a good enough, if nobody had already interviewed the individuals about the murder, I think I'd be there. I'd probably make that priority one to try and get to them. Though,
Okay.
I don't know. I think because I don't really know who all the individuals are, it's useful to think of the order in which to speak to them. The Lady Cutter, and then Tex, and then Ash last, for example. I suppose that's not something I'd really thought of.
That would be kind of my line of thoughts, but I think that everybody takes this at their own pace and what they think is best too. So the way that I see it might be a lot different, but we can all come to the same conclusion, hopefully at least.
Yeah. Another sort of, we might be getting off target a bit, but if they were sort of moving around, perhaps as a group or a few of them moving from town to town, and they end up in Strawberry and they're talking about the murder and such, I think I'd be curious to speak to who they spoke to afterwards and hear what they had to say about it. They might be trying to frame a particular narrative by spreading the word that, it wasn't them or somebody else was setting them up, It seems like it's, and again, I really am not familiar enough, I don't think, with the individuals, but if they are trying to control narratives and such, then, and they were smart, then if they go to Strawberry and sort of plant a particular story, it'd be very hard to shake that story once it sort of sets in.
I mean, this has happened roughly, I think, 10 days ago at this point, so I imagine that they have a story, but it doesn't mean that there aren't ways that we can find the truth still in it.
Yeah.
And that's where, again, take an associate that is new to this industry. I think Tex is a major highlighted weak point, personally.
Yeah, definitely. If nothing else, he's not spent enough time getting used to lying in the way that perhaps they do.
May not be loyal enough either, especially given that his former associate was murdered in a quite gruesome manner.
Yeah. And again, there's no saying he wasn't the one that bloody did it.
All right, so I suppose moving on to the practical portion of this, what if I propose then that over the weekend, would you be open to taking a deeper look at this case, chatting with Slaughter if you have additional questions, and otherwise setting up a meeting between yourself and a member of Silverlight? Um, could be Lady Cutter, like I said, and just looking into Eli Lockhart kidnapping her. And then
Yeah.
you and I can do that together, and then we'll get you checked off.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that, so long as you're happy for me to wade in and mess up this very carefully placed house of cards that you've been working on for so long.
I'm not worried about it, to be honest with you. Like I said, I do feel as if this is a more golden platter type situation, honestly.
Right.
It's just delicately putting these pieces in. But I think that the angle that we're pursuing right now is a pretty safe bet. So, some additional things and tasks to do. Number one, I want to find this telegram regarding the murder, or them talking about the murder in Strawberry. See if we can talk to the individual, if you're able to accomplish that before this weekend. Number two, looking at the case. Number three, having conversations with Slaughter to clarify anything about it, because some of it is a little bit unclear, such as who was there when the body was discovered. I think it was Ash in that group that she's talking about in the case. Um, from there, preparing yourself to have that interrogation slash interview with. You want to go with Lady Cutter? Does that
Yes, I've spoken to Lady Cutter again
okay?
before, so I think I can do that.
Okay, but after reviewing the case or anything else, feel free to make adjustments with that plan too. Of course, I'd be happy to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I'll brush up on as much as I can, and I'll see what I can figure out by myself and piece together for myself. Anything else I can bring to you before we go, perhaps, and
Yep, of course.
frame everything correctly. Yeah, I sort of have a vague idea of the whole thing. I think I'm confused on. There's lots of specifics I have no idea about, and then timeline. Just varying things have popped up here and there that I've seen or been sort of marginally involved with. But yeah, I'll go over it all, see what means what to me, I suppose, and if I have any questions, I'll bring them to you.
And yeah, feel free before we have this. I am available Monday through Friday, but so it doesn't have to necessarily happen on Monday. If you want to sit and talk more about this case before then, and we can really iron out everything, we can absolutely do that. Alternatively, if I don't know you have or what all you have on your plate, if you run into something else that you'd like to investigate or interrogate for, I'd be happy to go with that too.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I'm going to get done over the weekend with this little shaving cut I've got, but yeah, at least it gives me a good excuse to get some reading done. I'll sort of prepare for this. I think Monday would work as well. I'll sort of preliminary jot down Monday for this, and then again we can work it out as and when.
And I think Glass, as far as I understand, is on a leave of absence. He wrote to me a little bit ago. I don't know if that's true or not, but of course he's been somewhat intimate with the case as well, and may be able to answer some questions too.
Yeah, Glass is a good friend of mine, but yeah, he's been away for a few days. Yeah, if I can catch up with him, I certainly will. He and I were cadets together with a sort of dastardly duo, the Dream Team.
I see.
Yeah.
Just gotta get you in to be a detective then. I think he makes such a good detective. I know you said you want to be all rounded, but
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, perhaps, I don't know.
oh,
Really.
careful when you get up. Don't get up just yet, because I'm still chatting. One other thing too, I said that I would have touch base on you with was your interest in being a senior deputy as well.
Right.
Is that something that you're still interested in doing?
Yes.
All right, let me pull up the file because I think there has been discussion about it. Okay, so yes, there is a file ongoing about it. I'm just gonna quickly read over things, and I don't mind working with you on setting goals to getting towards a senior deputy role.
Yes, that would be helpful. I've not really heard too much about it. I spoke with Schaefer initially. He sort of had me
Mhm.
run some trainings for cadets and such.
Okay.
I spoke with Under Sheriff McGregor a little more about it just yesterday. But yeah, I mean, beyond that, no one's really told me a huge amount. I know that it's sort of predominantly a training role and somewhat a leadership role.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people keep asking me if I want the role, but if I'm honest, I'm not quite sure how to approach the question. You know, I think it falls rather to whether I'm worthy of the role, and that's something that, yeah, I don't know if I can fully answer. I suppose I wouldn't want to presume.
I see. I mean, maybe do a little bit of a self deep dive on that one. But I do view that the department is not all encompassing of one cog. It's built up of many different ones and the strengths of people. For example, I feel like Callahan, she's someone that consistently brings out deputies and goes on trainings with them and is a detective. Or you have people like Mr. Hans, who is a complete powerhouse when it goes to, leading people into battle and in these gunfights and all that.
Right.
I think that he's a little bit of a mixture of all, but that's his absolute strength, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, so it's kind of finding your niche a little bit. The main feedback that I do see would be people would like to see you leading a little bit more. And I've given this feedback to some others as well in the past. So if you're interested in this, whenever you're in a party with someone who is a senior or plus, I would pull that senior or plus to the side and just say, hey, I am interested in pursuing senior deputy. While we're doing this, patrol, would you mind if I just took lead and showed you how I'd want to lead this patrol? I think they'd appreciate you showing that. And then that way you also get to demonstrate to them too.
Yeah, all right. I sort of I figured that was the case. I didn't want to. Again, I didn't want to. It sort of feels awkward sometimes to wander over to a sheriff as a deputy and just say, "Oh, do you mind if I bloody take over?" But yeah, I sort of attempted to do that last night with Under Sheriff McGregor. We had a brand new cadet, barely interviewed. I requested that perhaps I could listen to the interview just to hear what that process was like, because I hadn't heard a cadet interview since I was a cadet. And afterwards, she obviously had no idea what the basics of everything was. So I asked Under Sheriff McGregor if I could perhaps take the lead and just sort of explain communication and telegrams and
Mm-hmm.
then perhaps run her through formations and take her on a patrol. And then immediately, as soon as we got to the bloody telegram station, that's when the breakers snatched us. So I didn't really get the chance to truly lead that. But yeah, I suppose I'm quite glad to hear that. Yeah, just sort of requesting to take the lead is the way to go. Again, I always feel rather awkward about it. But,
Yeah, but I mean, think about it this way. You asked Adam McGregor, what did he say to you?
he said yes, absolutely, and then just let me do it. So
Yeah, see, they'll be actually really happy to hear you doing something like that, especially if you consistently do it. I think you will have absolutely good remarks and very well wishes from people.
right, yeah, yeah, it's something I would like to actually do more. But again, I never feel like. Well, I suppose that's the point, isn't it? But I don't feel like I should always take over or even request it. But I shall do so more from now on.
Yeah, that's completely fine. All right, so that's the main thing. Um, Otherwise, people seem to genuinely like you. They imagine that you would make a very good senior deputy.
Well, that's a relief.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of paperwork. You seem good on that angle, so I
Yeah,
think that's
I'm trying to get the newer certification on the paperwork.
Oh, I'm actually late on that one too. So if you got some samples for me, I can just go ahead and get you checked off. We're looking for 3 different ones, 3 out of the 4. It's where you've created an investigation file completely. You know, one that has other files that are attached to it. A file, creating a citizen's file, which is pretty easy in my opinion. And I'll assume that you've done that. I'm not going to have you try and remember and bring one up for me.
Yeah, I've done that before. I did
Good.
Slaughter's one. Perhaps you could use that one.
All right. The
Doesn't it
other
say,
one
like,
is just
beautiful or something?
creating an incident file in general. And the last one is if you have a file that you've noticed someone working on and you've added additional information to it and attached another file to it or said, hey, look at this one. Such as, for example, when I had noticed that Eli Lockhart attempted to kidnap Cutter, I had mentioned in there that, look, this is associated now probably with the murder case, and see this file here. So if you, off the top of your head, know those 3 files, 3 out of the 4, or if you have all 4, bonus points to you, then I can go ahead and give you that. Or if you want some time, that's something that we can address next week as well.
Let me see what I can do. I
Okay.
will say I don't think I have all 4. I've never created a dossier. I've never had a reason to.
Yes.
So I've never really made. I don't think I've ever made a file that has other files attached to it. Just because it's just literally never been a thing that I've ever needed to do. But
Well, I think it actually comes up a lot more often than you think. For example, the file that you wrote as you were coming in here was a preemptive file saying, like, hey, these individuals are likely to rob later in the day.
right.
And you'll just attach that one to this one.
Oh, do you know what I did do? There is this might be more to the last one, but there is there's a dossier on a chap called Arthur Fryer. Be report number 25469.
Oh, 1 second.
Now this isn't one that I created. It's an investigation in progress, but it's a
Can you repeat
Keith
that number again?
25469.
Okay.
But I did add files to this. I didn't really note that I did. I just figured that there was a set of the linked files, the reports at the bottom. Because Arthur had he'd approached me before, I think I found 2 other files to do with him, and I added those to this. I think that I don't know if that covers one of the things that you were requesting, but I added the file where he robbed me and gave me a message to give to that file.
Okay. Yeah, I think this would suffice.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I suppose I didn't really, scribble all over it. I can pretty easily find one, I think. Did I make this one? Yeah. There is an investigation that I'm still sort of looking into. It's a couple of different things. An individual, Atticus Tulliver, was found dead in Rhodes. And there is quite a lot going on in that report. Now, one of the things that I was going to do here was here might be a good example of something where I could make an investigation or a dossier.
Okay.
Would you like the file number on that?
Sure.
24178. And this one's got a lot going on because there were several people who were and still suspects for this murder. And
Yes.
recently, Medic Prim requested sort of further information because they are looking into having a memorial for the chap. So there are 3 main suspects that remain. There were 4 originally, but one of them we managed to sort of figure out an alibi for. Now this has got. I mean, it's just sort of. I think the thing with this file that confuses me in terms of trying to make it a dossier or something is that this is really the only incident report on the actual murder of the chap. But there are other incidents alongside it. Some to do with Ray Bush that Glass added on here. But there's one in which I think it more sort of specifically points the finger at Sif and Indigo, which it sort of these 2 individuals murdered somebody else basically, and Atticus was involved in that in another way, and I think that's probably a good example of evidence that we might be able to use or at least question them on. I want to question all of these people, but I can't. I mean, 2 of them are in the wind, and Ray Bush, I think, is deep in Sisychus still. And that entire situation with Ray is quite delicate. So perhaps I could make this into a dossier. Would you suggest that's a good idea?
Yeah. I actually have one that's kind of similar, the Billy Boston murder, that I am looking to turn into a dossier. I just haven't at this time.
Right.
And I have incidents that relate to it, but don't relate to the murder, such as, a ranger was kidnapped and attacked over the murder. That doesn't have necessarily entirely things to do with the murder, but it should be in that dossier because it does point to potential suspects of the murder itself. So yeah, I think you're absolutely on the right path there.
Okay. I think what I'll do is I'll sort of make that up over the weekend, and then I'll be able to present that.
Okay, sounds good.
And I suppose I'll see if I can quickly find one in which I've sort of added some additional stuff to. Or would you prefer I go away? It might be quicker. I'm sort of wasting your time.
No, you're fine. Once we're done here, I'm going on a train and getting out of here for the weekend.
Yeah, I think
So you take your time.
I'll go and find a medic to check my bandages, and I think I'll probably get my head down as well.
So I'm gonna put you down as a interest sign up for this one, but you can reach out to me afterwards.
Yeah, I did speak. So Jones was the person that I spoke to. He sent me a telegram when I spoke to him, I think 2 nights ago, about approaching this. He requested if I wanted to be a lead on it, and I don't know if. I mean, if you're absolutely desperate for people to teach other people this certification, then I'd be happy to. But I don't know if I'm really the chap for it. But then again, I don't know. Maybe I've just got imposter syndrome.
I think you'd be okay for it if you really wanted to be. And if you did want to pursue senior deputy as well, it'd be good for you to take on a role like this. I think, I don't know, you can ask him still. I know he is looking for a group of 4 people. There's 4 currently, but this is a um, new certification. I also do strongly believe that this should be a certification that detectives are required to get. So there might be interest in pursuing it, and maybe the more the merrier a little bit.
Right.
So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem for me is that I'm just not quite used to leading anything really.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been a deputy since I think November, but for the most part, I've just sort of fallen in line, and I've been just sort of learning, you know, really shoring up and learning all the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of feel confident in my general ability, but then there's confidence in understanding, and then there's confidence in understanding to the point where I feel like I can potentially teach it, or
Mm-hmm.
you know. But yeah, paperwork. I feel like I'm pretty proficient in
Keen.
it.
If you have things that you want to show me right now, I'm keen on just signing you off on it. But
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which ones of these are the ones that I'm. I mean, I'm sort of scouring through some of the ones to try and find any that I wrote additional notes on, but I can't quite remember. I'll tell you what, I think it's going to probably take me a bit too long to find the specific
okay.
ones that I'm looking for. So just to recap, the one I'll find them and bring them to you, and then that way I
Okay.
won't take any more of
Sounds
your
good.
time. So it was one document that has attachments and such, which I'll create a dossier for
Mm-hmm.
the situation with Atticus Tulliver, I think. Because I think I'd quite like to do that myself, just to try and get some more eyes on that. I think there's more to that seems to have been a little forgotten because it was a little while ago, but it isn't
Mm-hmm.
over.
Yeah, and I think the dossier is something that we don't use too frequently, and it makes us feel uncomfortable because of that. So it's good to have a little practice on it as well.
Right, I've sort of wanted an excuse to do one, but not one just for the sake of it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other, so you wanted one that was a citizen registry file. I mean, I've got plenty of those. I could
Yeah,
pull.
I'm just saying you're good with that one.
Um, and then what was the other one? An example of
So, yeah, I'll just read through last year. So, any incident or wanted file for which they were actually present, such as you were actually present for. And I mean, you've done that very briefly again at the beginning of this conversation.
yeah, I've got I've got hundreds of those probably.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just find one that looks particularly neatly written, and I'll present
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
I think. Yeah.
The other one is an example of adding additional detail and connections to a case file started by another deputy, or other examples of collaboration, which I could say you would have done then if you're adding in these files to that one, and just raising
Yeah.
awareness to it. I think that was the Arthur one that you were talking about.
Yeah, I've done this plenty of times as well, but I just can't find a specific example because I've made so many case files recently. I think I've done it for Silverlight. There was that incident I mentioned earlier on in which I spoke to Ash. I think one of those was, I think it was a report taken by Reuben Wiley, and I just added onto that. But I'll see if I can find it. I won't make you go digging around for it, and I'll find one. I'm absolutely positive I've got several of those somewhere.
Sounds good. So then the plan is, again, you just find those files at your leisure. And then next week we will work on doing an interview and or interrogation
Hi, Maya.
together. A really solid lead, of course, is Lady Cutter. But if you think of anybody else in the meantime, let me know there too.
All right. Yeah, I'll get that all. I think I'll get that all sorted over the weekend, and then it'd probably be a lot quicker if I just bring it all to you in one fell swoop, and then perhaps we can go and speak with Lady Cutter
Yeah, and
Monday, yes.
yeah, Monday's fine for
Right.
me. Just send me a telegram,
Yeah.
and then we won't have to talk to each other ever again.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, this has been bloody grueling.
I'm kidding, of course.
Yeah, so am I.
All right, good. I hope it was at least somewhat informative.
No, it was. It was very, very useful. As much as I feel like I've got my feet under me with the, just the sort of the deputy position and making sure that I've done. I think I've done everything once at this point. Some of the certifications are things that sort of come naturally after doing the job for a bit. Pursuit, advanced pursuit trainings and such, but things like this, interrogations, I think, are much more specific. There's like you said, there's a sort of a key difference between an interview and an interrogation, and I find that very interesting. So, yes, this has been very informative, and hopefully I haven't waffled on too long about, all the wrong answers and such.
No, no. I think you did perfectly fine. And I'm excited to see what more you bring to the table in all of these aspects that we spoke of today.
Yes, thank you very much for the training and the chat.
Of course. All right, I'm going to go get myself ready on that train, and I will get you then early next week.
Yeah, I'm going to sit here for 5 more minutes and just see what I can pull. And yeah, I'll bring everything to you on Monday, I think. And then that way it's nice and neat and prepared.
Yeah, if that works for you. But if you run into other stuff, no sweat. We'll figure it out, okay?
Yeah, I've got not much to do really because I've got this bloody injury. So I'm waiting for my jacket to get back from the tailors. After that got a little messed up as well. So hiding
not
away
the
in
jacket.
here and, looking all scruffy and uncouth is probably the best place for me.
All right. Will you enjoy and get better, okay?
Yes, thank you again. Have a good
Of
night
course.
and
Yeah,
weekend.
you as well.
Right. Let's see if I can find. All right. Let me see if I can find these files, man. Loads of homework to do. Probably going to be very boring in here for the next 10 minutes. I mean, it's not like I can do anything anyway. You know what I mean? I've got a fucking. I can't. It's not like I can go out there and get shot at. And ideally, I don't really want to be riding around out there anyway, because you get fucking snatched, and I really can't be fucked to deal with being incredibly injured and then, being kidnapped again. That was fun though. I like Ryan. She's nice. And yeah, I've got to figure some of this stuff out. Yeah, I wasn't sure if we had to do an actual interview, but I guess we do. So I'm gonna read through the entire Silverlight case and just figure it out because yeah, I mean, I know some of it, right? We've sort of been in and around it a little bit, but there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of random things that are going on. That I just don't. Yeah, I just don't know the ins and outs. It's quite hard to come in at the end of an investigation or like halfway through, and like really figure it all out. Which is why like people that do really good paperwork is so useful. Like the Silverlight paperwork is really good. I assume that's because it's been Glass and Ryan that have been heading up, right? So there's quite a lot going on, and there's a lot of detail in here about the ins and outs of it. And I know the general, and then there's all of these different case files that are linked. But I think first I'll quickly see if I can pull these documents. So I'm going to make a dossier. I think I want to make a dossier for Atticus, but I'm scared of dossiers. I've never made one. Oh, I need to finish this as well. Another break-in in the oil fields. No, this wasn't me, but I went with them. When was this? Oh, this was when we went and searched the office. Yeah, that wasn't the one. Who's this? Who's creeping in? Nanak. What's up, my friend? Guru Nanak himself. You'll have to write yesterday's case file. I don't have to write the case file. I just need to read it. Ober in grey. Oh, here we go. Ah, here we go. This will do. It was the first one. God damn it. Yeah, this one, here's one. Additional details started by another deputy. 25143. There's an example. I don't know if it's a very good one. I'm not really sure what they're after. What was Leah's character called where we ended up having to investigate her fucking attempted murder? Northwest Gang robbed the bank. Robert Murdoch +2. Rob Ash. This was the other one, wasn't it? This is good. 24171. Margot, that's it. Alright. Okay, so there's the two. God, as soon as she walks out, I'm like, what is it about having someone like leaning over your shoulder that makes you like completely unable to read? And then she walked out and I was like, oh, here's two. Immediately found two perfectly good options. Okay, additional details started by another deputy. Any incident or wanted file in which I was present. What's a good one of these that I wrote? Definitely not old ones. Did I write this? Yeah. I mean, presumably they can just find this themselves, but I don't know what they're wanting. I assume one that has lots of detail on it. You know, maybe with a witness statement. What I don't do when I create reports is do the incident report the other way around. I think I want to start doing it a different. Ironically, I want to do it a different way than I've been writing them up until now, but not much I can do about it. This one's got a lot going on. Actually, this is a pretty good one because it's got everything in it. Right. With just a couple of updates. This has got a lot of things on it. Yeah. These folks are after heirlooms and valuable items. Also, information. He's hoping me and him can be business partners. He wanted the tags. He expanded the whole thing. Wants me to pick up things from lockers or auctions for them. That's right. That's what they wanted. I remember now. Fuck. What was that fucking file called? Any incident that I was present for. 23364 is maybe a decent example. I don't know because I don't know what they're after. I'm trying to think what they would be after from my perspective. I think I can open the file and look, but I'm going to try and guess first. What was the other option I was going to go for? Hayes is dead, right? Hayes died the other day. Okay, I'll do. 23364. What was this called? No more funny quotes. I do really. No, I'll still do funny quotes. Like the one with Moxley has terrible hair. 25143. Unknown murderer. 2411. Murdoch Rob's thingy. A civilian registry. I've done loads of them, but slaughter. I did this one. I can't think off the top of my head of a single other person that I've done one of these for, so I've done so many of them. And then a dossier. I might have a crack at it in a minute. Oh fuck, Otis is the only person online. Dang. Everett Gray. That's right. Oh yeah, that guy the other day. Erebus Gray. Oh, this is the only. It's his time to shine. He's the sheriff. He's the marshal. He is the god of this land. Fuck, dude. Fuck. Is there really no other law on? That's rough, man. Nothing I can do about it. I guess everyone's busy on a Friday night. Okay, let's quickly finish the file that I started, just so it's done. Laramie. Sweet Laramie. Very helpful when it came to Lorde and McGregor kidnapping, sent detailed telegrams and gave information over to deputies once they arrived. Very good first impression. I want to read my file from last night as well, but I'm just going to quickly finish. Rhodes Bank not robbed. Hostage taking, hostage taking. Okay. Let's get this done. Alright. Related details. Jonathan Prime. I mean, this guy. Superman fan. I liked him instantly. Jonathan Prime was taken from Emerald Ranch. 6 individuals. To Rhodes Bank. Group had the intention of robbing the bank with Prime as a hostage. I try not to say as the hostage because it sounds scripted, right? As a hostage. Over at the last moments. Goes instead to leave. So suddenly instead to leave. No attempt at break-in. 1 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 other evidence left behind. Prime was not harmed nor robbed. Then I'll put his actual statement in there as well. Jonathan Prime. Jonathan Prime? What's his name? Jonathan? How do you spell fucking Jonathan? I know it's in it because I did it right a second ago. Jonathan. That's the first way I wrote it again. Am I crazy? Jonathan Prime. That's what's wrong with me. And this was today at like 8:45. I was at Emerald Ranch about to work. 6 people on 5 horses surrounded me. Asked who I was. Said I was a ranch hand. They pointed guns at me and asked me to get off my horse. Grabbed my gun belt. After that, one got on my horse. I thought he was going to steal it, so I got a bit mouthy. He told me to get on the horse. I did. And we started riding to roads. They didn't say much. I tried to get them to spill names. Gang name. You know, their names or their gang name. But they didn't. This is all paraphrased, really, but they didn't budge. The only thing they said was, if you get lippy with us again, instead of you getting your horse back, we'll shoot it in the head. We arrived in Rhodes. They took me into the bank, made me stand by the window, and they inspected the bank. Then they came up and said, "Alright, you count to 30. If you come out sooner, we'll shoot ya." Then they rode away. Prime claimed they were wearing Valentine clothing, typical, and looked like typical ranchers. Also, dark clothing. One was probably Scottish or something. 2 ladies, 4 men. One had a pelt on his shoulders. The rest had dark clothing. Okay. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. This. The arrow key. I can't. Line. This arrow key. Yes, bruv. You know, I did know that and I never do it. Alright. Roads. Bank not robbed. 6 individuals take hostage from Emerald Branch. Attempt to rob. Roads Bank, but leave instead. I'm going to put this. Consider robbing Rhodes Bank, but leave instead. Okay. Done. I think. What else do we want to do? I want to read last night's fucking report. Which is probably about to become... Wait, there is no report from last night. Where is it? You fucking kidding me? Oh, here it is. Why didn't it come up with my own name? A group led by Masters encountered the armed group that took McGregor and Lorde at Erris Fields. Brady, due to the descriptions given, I believe this to be the Breakers. It definitely is the Breakers. The Breakers made it very clear to McGregor and Lorde that their kidnapping was a direct retaliation to the SCSD due to the deal being broken. They wanted blood for the broken deal and took it out on both Lorde and McGregor with several slash wounds across the body for both. Lorde was slashed across the neck and was given little to no treatment. McGregor and Masters both agreed on the deputies taking Lorde to get medical help while McGregor and the Breakers finished their conversation. Masters asked them not to lay a hand on McGregor. McGregor was then taken to a remote area of the crossing and slashed several times. They left McGregor to die out in the wild. I see charges as no less than attempted first degree against a government employee, as they made it clear this was planned and they wanted blood. JJ, I can't remember when, but some time ago, no more than 2 weeks, myself, Wayland Kirk and Edison Jones and a few other deputies found Charcoal Everett and one other man in Blackwater. Kirk wanted to make an arrest on Everett, who still had charges from some time before that were supposed to have been waived as part of this deal. This is the thing, isn't it? I wonder if Chloe got in here. No. But I guess this is it, right? Sometimes we're supposed to have been waived as part of the deal. We stood and talked with Charcoal about the deal and if it were real. Jones even having gone back to the office to read over files to find anything on it. We did find that a deal was made, and so we let the 3 go. I mentioned this as it seems like it may have been the deal in question that the Breakers think we broke. If that's the case, we kept our end of the deal and they broke it. Given that Charcoal demanded blood for the supposed breaking of a word and leaving 2 SCD officers to die after the blatant targeted attacks, I'd second the above charge and would like to state that due to the nature of their casual violence, the SCSD keep the fact in mind when dealing with them in the future. I'm all for extending an olive branch in most cases, but when they spit it back in our face, I think the gloves need to come off. Wait, hold on. Kirk wanted to make an arrest on Everett, who still had charges from some time before. It was supposed to have been waived as part of this deal. What deal, though? Where's this fucking deal? Oh, does it tell me? I didn't know who had saved me, by the way. Is it likely? Is it in here? No one's told me yet. No. Does it say anywhere in here that likely was the one who fucking saved my life? No. She's not even... Oh yeah, she is there. They took myself and Lord from Rhodes. I was talking with Charcoal and they made it very clear they wanted blood for the SESD, going back on a deal that was made between the Dovey Parker and Charcoal. The deal was that Charcoal would turn himself in and none of his associates would be charged. McGregor pleaded with them, but they took a machete to Lord, nearly killing him with a slice to the throat. What's this? Everett Cooper, Charcoal. Alright, I'm getting in here. I'm getting in. He's getting in there, boys. Now don't you worry about it. He's getting in there. So what have we got? Charcoal, Everett. Is Everett Evie? I know it is. Evie. Great, okay. Now the other one, I heard the name Bryn or Bree or something like that. Everett Bailey v. It was definitely like Bryn or something, wasn't it? Could have been Bailey. Shit, no, this has got me confused. Oh no, I'm just going to add it in. Scared that that's the same person. I'm not going to make a citizen file for them. I'm sure he said his name was Bryn or Bree. Yeah. While I predominantly dealt with Everett Cooper during the encounter. The individual, and it was the one that tried to slash me. They called Bree or Breen or something, right? The individual who actually took the machete to my throat was referred to as Bryn or Bree. He wore a mask. He had a flat cap on, right? I don't even think he spoke. What was the other fucking one called? Oh, hang on. With a gender on Bailey. To me, that guy seemed new. Right? George V. Everett Cooper. There's a V and an EV. That's fucking confusing. Yeah, he did. He says he's going to get messy or something. You're right. He did. Was he English? Now, these are my own. Yeah, this is the same crow. My own descriptions of them. Damn it. I'm trying to figure out if the girl is called Bailey. This was just charcoal. No, charcoal, George Bailey, Everett V. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think one of these. I think this guy's a new guy. I know the whole gang's kind of new, but I think they might either have lost one of these or they have 7. Or I completely misheard and they called him Bailey. No, the girl I saw last time. The girl was there when glass was taken. I recognised her outfit. Oh man, I wish I could pin this. Bailey seems like a girl's name. You know who we need is Glass, which is annoying as fuck. Okay. Now I've got to drink some fucking water on this character or he's going to lose his mind. Take your gun out, bruv. Oh, here we go. People are on. A family from the mines. Known locations. Two women and 4 men. Okay, so there's just loads of them. Oh, I made this. Break his kidnapped trip from Valentine and take him to... What the fuck is this? Oh, this was that fucking weird... Yeah, I remember now. It was like in the middle of something, right? That was them that took him, I remember. Lorde and Cadet Thoreau took Trout and Trip, Valentine, 2 femme individuals. There was 2 people that were like being weird about it. Kathleen. Well, who the fuck is Kathleen? Trip identified 5 members as Charcoal, George, Kathleen, Bryn, and Ivy. Evie. No, that was Evie. Let's get in here and fucking update that. Fuck, man. It's probably unnecessary, but sometimes when you're like, when I'm trying to do paperwork and I'm trying to piece shit together, and at some point they're going to get arrested and they're going to be being questioned on this, right? So they're going to be standing in Sisika and someone's going to be going through all their charges and they're going to be like, do you remember kidnapping Trip from Valentine and taking him to Strawberry and then bringing him back? And they're looking at all this shit. They're like, what the fuck? Bryn. There is one called fucking Bryn. Which means he's not new at all. My God, Bradley, spell. Time to go to bed. Are V and EV different? Alright, so now we've got to figure out Bryn. Bryn. For all the different ways to spell Bryn. There's not a single person that's ever been called Bryn. That's cool. Is there a Bron? Can I be Bron of Blackwater? Yep. Alright, create new citizen file. Here we go. Full name. Bryn. Bryn. I suppose it could be Bryn. Let me think about this. You're from fucking... Because they're all from Birmingham. Fucking Birmingham. Tommy Shelby. Bryn. No, I don't think it is Bryn, is it? They would say it correctly. What did he have? Like a fucking... He had like a grey coat. I'm putting him in, dude. This guy needs a fucking... Dude, there's nothing worse than writing these, by the way. It's like when I found out that Levi is called Cervice or something. Fuck. Is it not on there anymore? Hang on. Is it still spelled Levy? Yeah, Ceviche. This is Levi's thing. They actually haven't got me for a lot of the things that I've done. Why is it Ceviche? Fucking Briggs, McAllister. And then you end up when you're the person who looks at the shit. You're like, why the fuck does it say that, you piece of shit? Okay, Bryn. Okay. I just made the file. Oh, there's a full stop. Probably done is the individual actually took the mission to his Bryn. He wore a mask and flag everything the day seemed to be new to the group. I don't think this is true. They had to keep checking him, pushing him to do things. Secondarily, the femme-presenting member of the group had a very nervous disposition. This was uncomfortable. The violence eliminated. Now that could be anyone. That could be Kathleen, or that could be. Why? What's happening here? Oh, because I did this again, didn't I? I always put the at in. So this is a fucking shit show, isn't it? This is even slightly interesting to watch. I'm not bothered because this stream is, you know, who cares? But V Breakers Ivy. This is the same person. V is Evie, isn't it? They have 2 case files, citizen registry files for Everett Cooper. Evie. And V are the same person. That would be so confusing. EV Breakers EV V V. Ivy. I feel like I heard the name Ivy as well, but there's no way they would call one of them Evie and the other one Ivy. That's so confusing. The 2 of them logged in and was like, well, one of us has got to change. You know, the 2 of them logged in like, can't wait to play this night of brand new gang. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going in. Breakers. Alright, George V. Everett. Charcoal. Bryn. Black mask. Flat cap. It was kind of grey as well, wasn't it? Grey flat cap. Slate grey. Blue coat. Fur lined. Charcoal also was Birmingham, UK accent, right? I'm not misremembering that. Oh, Charcoal was Liverpool? Are you sure? I believe you. I'll do this just so that I don't end up getting in trouble. North UK. North English. Birmingham UK, because there's, you know. I think you're right though. Liverpool. The other one was Birmingham. Pretty sure, wasn't it? Very Tommy Shelby of him. I suspect V and Everett Cooper to be the same person with the nickname Evie or Evie. Can anyone confirm? There's another member called fucking Kathleen. What was that one all about? Because he named them, didn't he? It was really useful. Now, how did I get this name? I don't know if Kathleen is the one. She dresses like a witch. The nervous one, she has the big light. It's almost like the flood hat on. But I don't know if that's her. I actually do have some horse descriptions, actually. Where did I write that down? Like he was on a Breton. Not gonna risk it. One of the two femme presenting members wearing dark grey blue clothing with a large wide brimmed low brow hat has a very nervous disposition towards violence, can be possibly pushed for information. Okay. Okay. Dude, Cyberpunk, by the way, has been installing. I paused it for the stream. It's 82 gigabytes. I completely forgot how ridiculous that game is. I don't even feel like I have enough space. Let me check the F drive. I've used 860 gig on my F drive. That's ridiculous. They got to all be games. I better check. I don't have fucking tree size. You use tree size? Anyone? it is installed. Why doesn't it work? Run it as its own thing. I shouldn't do it while I'm trying to stream, should I? I'll leave that open and try and remind myself. This is ADHD. Ladies and gentlemen, diagnosed. Thank you. Somehow 79 people are watching this. I mean, it's a vibe. Look at this fucking room. Lucien doing work in here, listening to some classical. It's a nice Friday vibe, baby. We've got a nice Friday vibe. I'm just tabbed out at the minute. Sorry, I know there's nothing happening on the screen. I should go back from a call with my grandma. We're still doing paperwork. This is all I've done. Really, I should go and see if there are any doctors about and do that little bit of RP, but probably the problem with doing like any sort of medical stuff now is they're probably being dragged out. There's probably been like 6 shootouts, you know. Okay. Right, so we've solved the whole case of the breakers. Now I do have to. Ah, fuck! That was my hand. Striking the underside. You've seen my microphone. It's spiky. I fucking every now and then I crack my fucking hand on the underside of the spikes. It hurts so bad. I also burnt my hand earlier on the air fryer. I don't know if you've ever done the thing. I was literally just pouring French fries into the air fryer, right? From like a frozen bag of French fries, just pouring a few in. Which makes it sound like I'm an obese as fuck, like pouring like a fucking huge amount in. But it was like a, you know, like a handful of French fries. But I was pouring them into the air fryer. And I caught my finger on the edge of the air fryer and did the thing where you sort of like, you don't even realise you're doing it, you just flinch. I launched French fries everywhere. It was the worst day of my life today. Not really. Alright, so she wants me to read through the whole Silverlight thing, but I don't really want to do that today because A, I'll forget about it by Monday, and B, it's probably going to be quite a lot. I also don't want to make a dossier. I've never made one. It's very scary. Let's have a look at some of them. Let's look at, you know, who we need to look up. Callahan. Not the crisps. No, not the crisps. What? Fries. French fries. Just actual French. Fucking. You know what, Monty? You just carry on being you, okay, baby? What about Dalloway? Right. Look at this thing. Linked files, additional notes. Okay. Let's do it. This is fucking terrifying. Dossier, create new. Case link. That's correct, isn't it? Yeah. Report name, investigation in progress. I think. God, they're like, hey, you want to be a lead on on how to fucking create paperwork? And I'm like, I've never made any paperwork. It's incredibly scary. Yeah. Investigation in progress. The murder of Atticus Tolliver. Summary. Can't remember. Should be doing it at 11:30 at night. Let me pull up the other file real quick. Almost clicked the fucking stop streaming button by accident then. Right, let's see what Dalloways look like. Give me some good examples. He's got... Am I allowed to put myself as a fucking lead? I'm gonna. And then just additional notes. Now what does Slaughter's? Slaughter's got nice ones as well. Additional notes first, additional notes second, linked files, more additional notes. It's just all additional notes. Let's look at one that Ryan's put together. It isn't a training document. Maybe she did the Silverlight one actually. Fine. Oath. Keith Oath is another good one. He goes additional notes. Links. Right. This is just so that someone knows who to fucking contact, you know? Where the fuck is it? God damn it. Was it called Time of Place Alibi? The fuck is it called? Suspected individuals are Sif, Payne, Indigo, Riley, Ray Bush, what was his name? Lucas Riley, is that him? No. It was, he had a crazy name, a Ranger. Sal DeLucas. Can I link autopsy reports? Who processed him again? I have to remember his name. You know, I need the Quinn Harper case number, and I need That's not how you spell it. Is that it? That's not how you spell quarrel. Is it? Qua. I was close. Quarrel. Maybe I did get it right. Quarrel. Oh, it's 2 R's, 1 L. That's what it is. Alright, I can't remember which one it was, so let me just grab my files. Okay, so it was... The 4 of them visited Atticus in Blackwater. Sif Fontaine and Indigo Raleigh took Harriet and Juliet Walker to the edge of a cliff overlooking Cumberland Falls, where Sif shot Harriet multiple times. So Sif calls it a Juliet's testimony is below. After a recovery, Juliet... Okay, so Sif did it. Harriet was a ranger. Harriet's paramour. She's in a coma. She blamed Harriet for Atticus getting hurt. I just have to remind myself. Just said she was neglectful in care of Atticus. Sif claimed she cared more. That was it, right. Remembered now. Murder of Atticus Tulliver. Containing Raleigh and my prime suspects after Bush was processed. There is a violent there. You know what there was. Violent disagreement between Fontaine, Riley, Tulliver, and Lovett. Detailed in C22918 that ended in Fontaine and Riley. So let's just go with Fontaine murdering Lovett over... It's not a lover's quarrel. Fontaine... Lovett and Tulliver were lovers. Fontaine claimed to care more for Tulliver than Lovett. Blamed Lovett for Tulliver being hurt. Coma via Oni Frey. Fontaine Riley now my process was for after Bush was processed, there was a violent disagreement between Fontaine, Riley, and Lovett over Tulliver. Detailed in C2298 that ended in Fontaine murdering Lovett. Lovett and Tulliver were lovers. Fontaine claimed to care more for Tulliver than Lovett. Blamed Lovett for, and you know what I'm going to go with. And blamed Lovett for Tulliver being hurt at the time. Just so I'm not confused by it being that he's hurt now. Raybush was arrested for several crimes, though I'm unsure whether he was questioned on this case specifically while processed. However, the cause of death, asphyxiation, is similar to some of Bush's attacks. Sequin Harper case, yeah, that's what I wanted as well. So Ray Bush, please. Where is it? Bush strangles Queen Harper. 23936. Two, 3, 9, 3, 6. Sal DeLucas ruled out. DeLucas had a previous disagreement with Tulliver and was immediately accused by Keziah Prim. I think I can write this better. Ruled out. DeLucas had a previous disagreement with Tulliver. Was accused. Lucas discovered Tulliver's body. DeLucas also had a previous disagreement with Tulliver. Was immediately accused by Keziah Prim and discoveries. And when we figured it out, me and Chloe. However, due to time of death confirmed by the autopsy and an alibi, Ranger recruit, whatever his name was. I hate to say it, but how goes RP writing a dossier? I don't know, you tell me. It's dog shit. It's a dog shit dossier, and I hate myself, and I'm gonna fucking stress about it all night when I log out. What am I looking for? Tulliver. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this, man. God damn it. Ranger recruit Lee. Why do I feel like it was a different cadet that actually confirmed that? No, okay. Santa Luca returned to add a tip that said that 2 people who killed Harriet Lovett were after Atticus, Sif and Indica. They'd been trying to reach out to him. He's been ignoring the telegrams posts I reached out. He said that 2 people told Atticus everything would make sense if he would reach out to them. Okay, so it's Ranger Recruit Lee. I don't know who the fuck that is. Thanks for tirelessly. Affected individuals. Sif Fontaine, Indigo Riley. Fontaine and Riley are now my prime suspects after Bush was processed. There was a violent disagreement between Fontaine, Riley, and Lovett over Tulliver, detailed in C22918, that ended in Fontaine murdering Lovett. Lovett and Tulliver were lovers. Fontaine claimed to care more for Tulliver than Lovett and blamed Lovett for Tulliver being hurt at the time. A coma via Onnie McRae. Fontaine and Riley were active at the time and tirelessly trying to make contact with Tulliver, who was neglecting to respond to their telegrams. Ray Bush was arrested for several crimes. And was... I should probably add the, you know, I'll add the... No. We'll add the thing in there. The Imogen one. Ray Bush was arrested for several crimes and was particularly active at this time, though I am unsure whether he was questioned on this case specifically while processed. However, the cause of death, asphyxiation, is similar to some Bush's attacks. I kind of want to put just a full account of the autopsy report in here as well, but I don't know if that's like overkill. But Keziah gave me a copy of it, and honestly it's pretty fucking useful when you read that thing through. Can I link to it? I don't think I can. But Lucien has this as like a piece of paper that's been given to him. Lecture performing, price observing. So this was Mason's one, was it? I don't know. You know, it'd be crazy if it was Prim that did it. You know, wouldn't that be insane? If it was Prim that killed him and kept coming to me, she was like, "What's going on with the thing? Do you have any more leads?" And Lucien's like, You motherfucker. That'd be sick. Remains to be released to next of kin. Good afternoon, medical team. This is in reply to your autopsy request made by Medic Mason. Blah, 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 blah. This was what I sent them. Liaise with local nurse. Stage 1 visible injuries. So can I just... If I can do this, I'll do it. If I can copy it out. And chuck it in, I'll do it. If not, I won't bother. Well, I won't bother right now. I might do it anyway, but I want to go to bed. Well, I want to go and not be doing this. Okay, here we go. Sick. Sick. It's about attached. Attached is a full copy of the autopsy report. Atticus Tulliver died via asphyxiation from an individual strangling him. His time of death is 36 plus hours from writing this report, but they didn't actually write when that was, I don't think. They just wrote a date. Oh no, 1830 EST. Wait, liaise with local nurse, 1830 EST tomorrow, Fletcher. What does that mean? I need that time to truly rule out that ranger. He is ruled out. I mean, it would be so insane if it was him. I don't know how the fuck he would have done it. And then he would have had to plant the body, ride around for 3 hours with the recruit, find the body, and then be like, and like no one found it in all that time, you know. Mud as well. Mud makes me think Ray Bush, man. Spattering of blood on the jacket close to his face. Split lip. No signs of clothing tears. Was not dragged. His weapon is missing. Red clay. Where's red clay? That's the west. Is that where these other people... Mud present in the crevices of his gun belt. Horsehair, reddish brown in colour. Bruising around the eye sockets. Glasses cracked from impact. Bloodied nose. Inside the cavity itself, consistent with the beating reported in the death certificate. Do you know what we're doing right now, by the way, dude? This is hilarious. I'm going over these reports. It's that scene in movies, Lucien with a glass of whiskey next to him, a cigarette burning. It's all black and white. And he's got all the papers out, the red string attached, and all the fucking faces of people on a board behind him. You know what I mean? Do you know what movie? You know what scene I'm talking about in every movie, like the grizzled detective? I'm doing it for real. I'm actually sitting here trying to solve this case. Bloodied nose inside the cavity of itself, consistent with the beating report of the certificate, the death certificate. No breakages to the teeth. Lip split. Blood matted into the beard. Signs of strangulation. The camera, like, there's just a shot of it panning over, like, the case files for Ray Bush. The perpetrator was potentially wearing fingerless gloves. No signs of skin breakage, no lacerations, no gunshot wounds. Scar tissue. He'd been dead for over 36 hours. His nails had dug into the flesh of his hands. indicating his fists were clenched. Slightly blackened fingertips from ink. What does that mean? Two other individuals involved, one with ginger hair and one with grey. It has to be Sif Fontaine and that. Brown hair. No, black hair. Black Arabian, white Mustang. It's fucking... Dude, I don't know who did this. This might not be anyone. Might not be in any of them. This could be a completely different situation. Indigo Riley's got blonde hair. I suppose you could... His next of kin is fucking Quill Gang. Riley uses he, him pronouns, okay. But this doesn't... He couldn't have been dead for very long before he was found. Glass was talking to him 2 hours before that. He was found... No, he was found the day after he was killed. I think. If my memory's correct. He was dumped in the Rhodes Sheriff's Office the next day. I think he was killed the night before, right? That's why it's 36 hours. I think the day before was when Glass... Because this was... God. So me and Glass went to Guarma looking for him. We came back. We found Prim. Prim was like... Yeah, I don't know why everyone's so worried about Ray. So Glass was talking with him on Blackwater docks that day? No, he wasn't. He was killed 36... He's been dead for 36 hours. That can't be true. Grey hair... Ginger hair. I took that to mean, because I'm sure that on the day they said something like that to me. Like he'd been dead for all night. Fuck it. The Marshal. Oh. A man called Marshall. Alright, fuck this. Not doing any more work. What are the odds my horse is even still there? Been so fucking long. God damn it. Get that ranger in. Why is the graphics completely fucked out? What the fuck is this? Oh, one of these fucking things. Yeah, it's annoying. I need to speak to Glass about so much stuff. What if he isn't dead? What if that isn't Atticus Tulliver? Do you know what would be absolutely fucking amazing? That revelation. Now, who the fuck is that? Has he got no shoes on? Please be safe. Do you not remember your accident, or was that simply a jest? The iron training environment will be low impact, and it's pretty much all verbal, so it shouldn't be taxed on you if you need to go. Oh, bless her. No one ever fucking understands when Lucian's like making jokes, because I say everything in exactly the same tone with all of them. Oh, dude, can you imagine if Atticus is just on Guarma right now, living his best life? I'll do the thing, you know, the end of Batman where he sees Alfred and they just nod at each other. Lucien just lets him be free. Clay though, where's their red clay? I'm gonna speak to the Rangers about it. Dude, I made bank tonight just sitting around doing paperwork. Alright, I didn't go and see a medic, so ooh, not good. We'll have to go and see one tomorrow. He needs to clean his bandages. Alright, tomorrow I will be doing nothing but playing Wild RP. I don't know whether I'll be playing Lucien, Levi, or whether we make a new character. I'm literally gonna figure it out tomorrow morning. So if you want to watch that, I'll see you then. I'll probably start like 4 or 5 p.m. something like that, UK time, which is about 11 a.m. Eastern, midday. Momo market o'clock. And yeah, that's it. No main channel stream tomorrow, just because I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna get on with some table story work in the morning, and we'll just do a little bit of Wild RP, and then I play D&D in the evening. So write the whole thing off. Sunday is D&D. We're gonna play Twitch Plays D&D again. If you want to watch that on main, and we'll just see how it goes. Sunday night will probably be Luciening, but we'll see how it goes with the boys. All right, let's go see Biz. I think he's starting up his stream. I don't know what he's doing. He might be making a new character. And I'm gonna watch a little bit of that, and then probably fucking die, just collapse. I have literally got no idea how boring this was to watch. It was just me doing some certification training and then grizzled detective noir paperwork, which is much more fun to watch in a movie than just, you know, the Wild RP clipboard. But I found it enjoyable because I'm a loser. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow for some more here at some point. Have a good night. Peace. Bye. Remember to follow and subscribe to Biz. He's trying to make a go of it. So if you've got some spare coins, chuck a coin to your Kato. You're busy of plenty. Because he's a lovely boy. He's a very good friend of mine, and he truly deserves the best in this life, honestly. So he is Brad approved. Please enjoy his stream and have a good night. Bye.